24 of Hillary Clinton's most inspiring quotes to help you get through today. When you're knocked down, get right back up and never listen to anyone who says you cannot or shouldn't go on. Today is tough for anyone who hoped Hillary Clinton would win the 2016 presidential election. Allow her own words on hope, perseverance, and coming to terms with difficult realities to bring some light into a dark day. Fear is always with us, but we just don't have time for it. Not now. At her Wellesley commencement speech in 1969, too. Always aim high, work hard, and care deeply about what you believe in. And when you stumble, keep faith. And when you're knocked down, get right back up and never listen to anyone who says you can't or shouldn't go on. Ending her 2008 campaign for president. 3. The worst thing that can happen in a democracy, as well as in an individual's life, is to become cynical about the future and lose hope. That is the end, and we cannot let that happen. 4. I think that if you live long enough, you realize that so much of what happens in life is out of your control, but how you respond to it is in your control. That's what I try to remember. 5. People can judge me for what I've done. And I think when somebody's out in the public eye, that's what they do. So I'm fully comfortable with who I am, what I stand for, and what I've always stood for. On PBS NewsHour in 2014. 6. There is a sense that things, if you keep positive and optimistic about what can be done, do work out. To Elle in 2012. 7. Every moment wasted looking back keeps us from moving forward. In this world and the world of tomorrow, we must go forward together or not at all. Ending her 2008 campaign for President. 8. Do all the good you can for all the people you can, in all the ways you can, as long as you can. On Twitter in 2016. 9. You know, everybody has setbacks in their life, and everybody falls short of whatever goals they might set for themselves. That's part of living and coming to terms with who you are as a person. 10. It is often when night looks darkest, it is often before the fever breaks that one senses the gathering momentum for change, when one feels that resurrection of hope in the midst of despair and apathy. To the NAACP in 1995-11. We need to be as fearless as the women whose stories you have applauded, as committed as the dissidents and the activists you have heard from, as audacious as those who start movements for peace when all seems lost. At the Women in the World Summit in 2012. We need to understand that there is no formula for how women should lead their lives. That is why we must respect the choices that each woman makes for herself and her family. Every woman deserves the chance to realize her God-given potential. To the UN Fourth World Conference in 1995. 13. To every little girl who dreams big, yes, you can be anything you want, even president. On Twitter in 2016. 14. To LGBT men and women worldwide, let me say this. Wherever you live and whatever the circumstances of your life, whether you are connected to a network of support or feel isolated and vulnerable, please know that you are not alone. On International Human Rights Day in 2011. 16. You have to be true to yourself. You have to be enough in touch with who you are and what you want, how you want to live, and what's important to you, to make your decisions based on that. Sometimes that's very difficult. To Marie Claire in 2012-17. Whether I am meant to or not, I challenge assumptions about women. I do make some people uncomfortable, which I'm well aware of, but that's just part of coming to grips with what I believe is still one of the most important pieces of unfinished business in human history, empowering women to be able to stand up for themselves. To Vogue in 2009. 18. I suppose I could have stayed home and baked cookies and had teas, but what I decided to do was to fulfill my profession, which I entered before my husband was in public life. On Nightline in 1992. 19. You have just one life to live. It is yours. Own it, claim it, live it, do the best you can with it. To Marie Claire in 2012-20. We can tell stories all night, and we can talk about the women who have inspired us. But what inspires me is not just who they are, but what they do. They roll their sleeves up and they get to work. At the Women in the World Summit in 2012. 21. I know that at a time when so much seems to be pulling us apart, it can be hard to imagine how we'll ever pull together again. I know because I've seen it in the lives of people across America who get knocked down and get right back up. And I know it from my own life. At her DNC presidential nomination acceptance speech in 2016. I have always believed that women are not victims. We are agents of change. We are drivers of progress. We are makers of peace. All we need is a fighting chance. At the Women in the World Summit in 2016-23. Among the most striking things that I have learned is how much we have in common. I've sat down with people everywhere, discussing what was in their hearts and on their minds. And it doesn't take long to find commonality, which is often overlooked, ignored, dismissed, and rejected otherwise. At Dublin City University in 2012. 24. You can be so proud that from now on, it will be unremarkable for a woman to win primary state victories. Unremarkable to have a woman in a close race to be our nominee. Unremarkable to think that a woman can be the President of the United States. And that is truly remarkable. Ending her 2008 campaign for president. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe my channel. See you in the next video.